Hello and welcome to episode 192 of First Geek 411. This week, we got the Golden Globes, the CW being up for sale, and the newest trailer for the reboot of Bel Air. Then we are going to wrap with the top 3 releases of 2022 that we can't live without. And I'm not doing this by myself, and I'm Cameron Franklin. Didn't say that yet. Here we go. With me, as always, from the Great White North, Shanine, how are you doing?
Hello. Not freezing today, which is delightful.
Proud of you.
Yes. Like a 30-degree temperature change since yesterday.
Wow. Then joining us from yet another new location, Emma, how are you doing?
Who are we really but a skin and bones and some very small amounts of electricity?
And one very cool hoodie.
And one very cool
I
hoodie.
really like that hoodie.
Present. It has animals on it.
Yeah. At first, I thought it was like a button-down, like collared shirt.
I mean, that would be
and
pretty cool too.
And I was like, I will buy that.
I would also wear it.
Yes, I was like, I will snap wear that to work.
Yes. It was a Christmas present. But this is a new old location, just from a different angle. It is my living room. Normally, if I'm out here, I'm over there.
Oh,
in that seat over there. I just decided to sit in this seat instead.
Also, pay no attention to me live editing. I forgot to take the text off from last week, so pay no attention to these things. The places you should pay attention is our social media, where we are OneGeek411. You can also join our Discord server if you want to chat during the week, and you can shoot us an email at 1stgeek411@gmail.com. You can watch live Monday nights, 6:45 Mountain Time on twitch.tv/OneGeek411. Be part of those post-show chats where you're going to get all of our honorable mentions for our top 3 this week.
All of them.
Yes. And then you can also find the videos over on YouTube where you can like, comment, and subscribe, where you can also ring that bell. And then you can rate and subscribe wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. And then lastly, you can check out our Redbubble store for the latest merch. And with that, let's get into what we have been up to this past week. Emma, why don't you start us off? I don't know why I was like Emma's like almost always goes first. I'm like, I don't know why I was in thought, but here we are. What do you got?
I have been, as some people in the Discord know, been catching up on Critical Role Campaign 3. Have been obsessed with it over the past 2 weeks. I went from being on episode 2 to being on episode 8 in the time frame of less than a week.
Yeah, you zoomied.
5 days. I zoomied. I was just like, okay, I'm going. I'm doing this. I'm going for it. Completely in love with it right now. So I'm just like, all right, let's do all the fun stuff. So I've been watching it while doing puzzles and traveling and all of that. Just in love with it so far. So that's been my big thing over the past while, has been watching Critical Role. Now want to work with them on future projects. Big dream, dream big.
I liked you shooting your shot with that tweet.
I know. I'm just like, most people want to get into Hollywood. I just want to work with Critical Role, Might as well try while I'm here. So that's just my dream. Classes started today for our non-visual listeners. Started was in air quotes. Because the first 2 weeks of classes are online, rightly so, for people to get tested and quarantine and whatever else. But because school made that move to the first 2 weeks being digital or whatever, both of my classes were like, you know what? We're not going to meet today. We're scheduled to meet today, but we're not going to.
Just
so, one of them was like, here, watch this video before Thursday. And the other was like, oh, we'll just meet on Wednesday. Screw today's class. So, I technically had classes today, but I didn't actually have classes today. So yeah, the other thing I started yesterday, Saturday, this weekend, while I was on my Critical Role binge, was I started playing Pokemon Brilliant Diamond because I hadn't played either of those games, Diamond or
Pearl.
whatever the other one is. And I was like, you know what? I might as well just play the release for the heck of it because I had a little extra spending cash.
Mhm.
So I got Brilliant Diamond and started playing it while watching Critical Role, and it's a lot of fun so far. I naturally went with the fire Pokemon starter because
The
that's my
correct choice.
go-to. That is just my default choice is the fire one. Um, so yeah, enjoying it so far. And that's been my week.
Nice. Shanine, what about you?
All right. Got to do an escape room with my family this weekend, which was super fun.
Did y'all escape?
We did, with several hints from the game master and only 9 seconds to spare.
Ooh.
I've had
We
those.
made it. We're just sitting there at like the last puzzle, and none of us, there's 5 of us in the room, and we're all like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And they like gave us a hint. And we're like, I don't get it. And then it was a lot of the puzzles were like digital. So they like actually start moving the mouse on the screen and like showing us. We're like, oh, it took a lot, but we got there.
There's nothing worse in an escape room than them giving you a hint and being like, I don't know what that means. Like,
Yep.
I've had some of those where it's just like, it was like you'll find the puzzle and it's just like, I just don't get what I'm supposed to do here. Like, I get that this is the puzzle, but they'll be and like I've had the ones where it's like, hey, are we supposed to be here yet? Like, or is this something that we come back to? And they're like, nope, you have everything you need to solve that. And I'm just like, well, we're breaking stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we had everything and we're just staring at it like, doesn't make any sense.
Sounds like
We got there.
honestly, when I was at Disneyland and we were doing like the Star Wars thing, I was one of those people that would walk up to the like button decorations and just push them to see if they did anything. I feel like I would do that in an escape room. Does this button do anything?
You know, you never know.
You
Like,
never
that's,
know.
That's one of the.
You might as well push it and
That's
try.
true. You just have to try. And yeah, Chunk says, and after I got all that practice with King's Quest last week, yeah, we ended with all those logic puzzles at the end, and I was like real confident.
So confident.
When there's like 1 minute left on the timer, you get real stressed.
Yeah. It's like what we were talking about in your chat while you were playing that. It's like everyone's good at math until you have to go up in front of the class and do math. Like it's that same principle.
Yeah.
One of my favorite relevant podcast memories is one of their hosts talking about doing escape rooms and how you can never trust the rules. And he's like, if you tell me there's a chimney and I can't climb that chimney, that's the first place I'm going to go.
Yep.
And I'm like, I like your energy.
I do that all the time in video games. You tell me I can't do the thing, I'm gonna do it. The one thing I can think of is God of War when you go through the bridge thing and they tell you not to jump off the ledge. Oh. I just went and did it.
You gotta risk
like,
it.
You know what? I'm gonna do it.
You never
told
know.
me not to.
Sometimes that's how you get trophies.
Yeah, exactly.
You must have brought it up for a reason.
Yeah. What was the theme of the escape room?
So it was a candy factory one. We had to like find the secret recipe.
You have my attention.
And then we all got fancy lollipops at the end.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It was very exciting and just like a generally super fun escape room. We hadn't been to that like company before. So it was really fun. Also been watching season 3 of Titans.
And?
So far, really liking it. Like, it's the kind of death in the family Red Hood storyline. right now. So I'm generally a fan. Um, the best part of the show is their villains. I think they've been doing their villains really well, especially this season. It's been good.
Good.
And yeah, Barbara Gordon got introduced, which was exciting. Um,
I do feel like after what you said over the weekend that we need to give Titans another chance. And by another chance, I mean just watch more than the 2 episodes that we watched. But
yes, it gets better. Just pretend Starfire doesn't exist and just ignore her parts of the show and watch everything else, and it'll be good.
There you go.
And I also played a bunch of Immortals Phoenix Rising this weekend. I have so many hours into that game, and I spent so many hours on it this weekend, and I did so many things. And then I look at the greater map, and I'm like, I've made like 0 progress. I don't understand
that's
how
how open
people.
world games get you.
Yeah.
There's so many things. I'm like, should I just be like not doing all these things and just like doing the storyline? But then I don't want to come back and do all the things.
That's why open worlds take me so long.
There's so much. And like usually in this game I get stuck on something. I didn't get stuck on anything this weekend and I still got like nothing done. Man. But it's fun. I like it.
For me, I've kind of been all over the place with what I've been playing. Played some more with Pathfinder Kingmaker. Finally killed all the trolls. That I was trying to do on my stream last week, and like, I don't know, I was cheesing them, but like it would just took so long to get through everything. And then I'd gotten to the boss, and it was one of those things where like the boss like stops you to talk to you before you kill them. And then I was like, you can choose to like spare them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't trust them. Like I have no reason to trust that the troll wouldn't just try to reunite their own people. To the point like I even like looked it up and I was like, what happens if I do this? Because this feels like a trap. And it was like there was still like no major consequences. And I was like, I'm playing my character as chaotic good. And I was like, I just don't think, like the chaotic me was like, oh, let them go. They can do their own thing. But I was like, I just don't think that like that I would see that as what's best for my own kingdom.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I'll kill them. And then they're back with full HP. And I need to fight them again. And I was like, this is not going to work out well. And so it took me like 3 tries, and then the 4th try I got it. Because the 3rd try was the first time I actually beat them, and I'm like, oh yeah, got them. 3 try rule. And then yeah,
You just
and then they
ruined
wrecked
your
me.
chances.
Then they wrecked
Yeah.
me. And so, but yeah, so the second time on that part, I was able to get through, and then also started playing Scarlet Nexus because I'd ordered a bunch of games that they finally came in, and so. It's like a JRPG. It's very actiony. The story is like all over the place, and I think that's the point. Like, because it's like at the start of the game, you choose one of the 2 protagonists, and you play through their side of the story. Then my assumption is you go back and pick the other protagonist, and you get all the background that you missed for what they're doing. Because like, it's not like you're picking who to go through the story as. They're like completely different paths, at least from what I've done so far. And so that's been a lot of fun. It has a weird way of telling the story, which is almost like comic booky. Where like it'll put up the scene and then it'll have like the people talking and then like the new scene will come in and stuff like that. And
odd.
It's weird. Like not bad, but just weird. I'll post a video about it, like with some like from one of the early story bits, just so people can see. But like I find myself a lot like it's very over the top action, and I find myself just thinking, I really want to just see the anime of this, like of this cutscene. Like, show me that you're over the top, everyone has superpowers kind of thing. Like, show me that, not people standing around talking about powers.
Yeah.
But I've been enjoying it. I'm definitely going to beat it. I'll probably do both playthroughs or both paths. I'll probably take a break between them or something. And then over the weekend, we launched Cameron plus Deanna, which is the new channel that Deanna and I started. And so we streamed some Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion, Jurassic World Evolution, Guardians of the Galaxy, and then Lego DC Supervillains. Streaming board games, very hard. Yeah. And so it's also very hard when, you succeed on your first try, but then you just decide to replay the scenario for funsies. And so that was fun. We'd like set up to do multiple scenarios, and we're like prepared to like bust out the next thing. And then sure enough, no, we just decided to retry it for fun, just to see what would happen. And so, but that was great. Thank you everyone who turned out. I know y'all were both there for some of it. And so appreciate y'all coming by and showing support.
Always.
And then,
gotta support your buddies.
Yeah. And then what else? Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Ton of fun.
Yeah.
From what I
Worth it?
played so far. Yeah. I've really been enjoying it. I've only played what was on stream, but I really like their take on the characters. The characters that I wanted to be just like the MCU are just like the MCU. And then the characters that I was like, you could do so much more with them. It looks like they're going to be doing so much more with them. And so I'm really excited about that. But more on that to come at some point in time. And that wraps up what we have been up to. So I guess let's get into our discussion topics for this week. Emma, why don't you go first?
For anyone who cares about televised film awards or award shows, you might know that the Golden Globes happened, but no one saw it except for the people who were there. And by that I mean they happened, but in some random hotel conference room without any live stream or anything. So they happened. It's just no one saw it.
Yeah, I feel like this was the weirdest decision.
It was a very weird
decision.
I
remember when this got announced, and it was just like, but what?
Yeah. And the Golden Globes is known for being one of the, it's well known for being one of the, biggest Hollywood parties, too. Like, that and the Oscars, people go to that thing.
Yeah.
But
I want to just read this
just
article you posted. So, the long billed as Hollywood's Party of the Year, Sunday's Golden Globes more closely resembled an intimate tax attorneys convention.
That line cracked me up.
That's so good. Shout out to LA Times. That's so good.
Just iconic. Although the evening was black tie, the usual fizzy mood was gone. But yeah, they were just like, you know what? We're just gonna to not show anyone except the people who are there. But there were some exciting winners. I don't think it says here. I think Andrew Garfield got an award for something.
Yes, Garfield won for Tick Tick Boom.
Okay.
So I was really happy.
I was remembering correctly. I was like, Andrew Garfield, he got something. Yeah. So that's about that. I mean, that's a big change when it comes to award shows, especially for film, which have traditionally been viewed by millions. Now it was just viewed by 150, 200, depending on whoever was there, whoever got invited. So, yeah, that happened. Let it be mentioned. Let it be recorded. Um, the Golden Globes were not televised this year.
Yeah, I feel like it's such like I respect them for saying, hey, we're gonna just do it like not in person, not cram everybody here, not risk things, like especially when like you would be bringing in all these actors that would then go back to the sets of the films that they're working on, and then like
just asking for more problems.
Exactly. But why would you not live stream it, even if it's a bad stream?
Yeah.
Like it just seems like you should do, like, because no matter what, you're gonna either get articles like these where it's like, why did this even happen? Yeah, or
conference.
you're gonna get your like, oh, I like do Twitch in my basement and I could do a better stream than this, but then at least you did a stream. Like, I'm just
at least
so
you
confused.
Did something,
right?
You know,
set up a webcam, point at the podium, and like just have someone talk. Like, I'm so confused.
You don't need all the Hollywood brouhaha.
Yeah.
My note for it in the show notes was this year's Golden Globes was little more than a random conference in a random hotel with no televised nonsense.
Which like honestly sounds like no televised nonsense sounds like a great award show.
Yeah,
like,
same.
If
I
could
agree.
have less televised nonsense and more like awards and people talking about their creative works, like I'd watch more award shows.
I would absolutely watch it. I'd be like, I'm here for it. Like, I want to hear the process. Gimme. But, you know. They were like, we can't have televised nonsense? Then you can't have anything.
Yeah.
So, there's that.
Shanine, what do you got for us?
All right. The new trailer for Bel Air came out. For those who are unfamiliar, apparently it was 3 years ago that Morgan Cooper made a fan trailer envisioning the Fresh Prince of Bel Air as a gritty drama, and Will Smith saw it and was like, yes, we're making this now. And 3 years later, we have a trailer, and it is releasing on February 13th on Peacock. I can't believe this was 3 years ago.
Yeah, I remember talking about it on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't believe this was 3 years ago, and I also can't believe this is actually happening. Like, it just seems like it had been so long that it was like, this will never actually, like, they did a script, it didn't work out, like, whatever, it happens. But here we are.
Yep.
3 years later.
And yeah, I don't know. The trailer looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks good.
Like, I'd watch it.
I feel like,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm so interested. It's one of those of like, I never really like watched a lot of Fresh Prince, but like, it's one of those I'm more interested to see what they did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting seeing a new take on all the characters. I feel like especially Carlton. So like iconically Carlton, and seeing someone new in that role is strange but exciting. Are there any other sitcoms that you would like to see or you think would do well being re-envisioned in a similar gritty drama fashion?
I'm kind of reimagining in my head both How I Met Your Mother and The Office as a gritty drama, and how that would happen. And how terrible that would be, but also completely fascinating it would be.
My idea for The Office is that it focuses on the Scranton Strangler.
Yep. I feel like you could also do The Office in a different office where it's just like a much more morbid, have it be like in a funeral parlor or something like that, and just have it be like, again, because I feel like that would leave you up for like the hijinks of it, but in a more serious like situations rather than a paper company. And so
Yeah.
I feel like, so like you could do like a setting there where the setting is more
Where
gritty.
it's more of almost like a dark comedy drama.
Then How I Met Your Mother was the one that I thought of.
Yeah.
Where like you could like Barney, well, arguably no one but Marshall is a good person, but like you could actually have this be about like a gritty reboot about somebody like Barney, and have it be about how he is an awful person, and so
Yep.
and like I mean, similarly with Ted, who does some very not great stuff. Like you could very much just have this be like, instead of their like quirks being played for laughs, like you could actually have it be about like the damage that they cause. Like,
Yep.
And then Chunk says for The Office, because that's 6 feet under. Touche. And then I think you could do New Girl, where Jess just gets murdered in the first episode.
Oh no.
Like they even
and one of them witnesses it.
Yeah, like she moves in,
They have
one
to
of them's a
deal with
serial
it.
killer. Like it's just the meme of like moving in with people you don't really know, and
Yeah.
instead of her getting friends for life, one of them's a murderer and she dies. And like the rest of the show could be about like who killed Jess. Like,
Yeah. Who killed the new girl?
yeah. And so
Or Parks and Rec
Mhm.
is like in the middle of some like poor community with like high crime rates or something. I don't know, but like, and they were just trying to fix it up.
I mean, it is technically a part of the government. You could get way more political with
Right.
that.
Yeah.
it might not necessarily be grittier, but it would be sadder.
It
So
would be much sadder.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of some other sitcoms that I think could be crazy. It feels weird to say Scrubs because like Scrubs was very intentionally like they would like rubberneck you, where like at one time you're like looking at something super funny and then they would punch you right in the heart and make you like cry inside. So like I feel like maybe that they could probably get more into the dark comedy side of that, but we also don't need a new season of Scrubs. So
Is that the one where the last season was a weird, like, terrible last season where, like, there was just a bunch of new trainees
yep.
or whatever? Okay.
Yeah, so the last season is the 8th season has a really good wrap. It's a great finale. And then they're just like, they basically had the idea for a spinoff, but the idea wasn't that fleshed out or wasn't going to work. So they decided to like advertise it
Make
as
it
the 9th
9th
season instead of as a spinoff. And so I think if it would have been a spinoff, it would have been received better. But a lot of fans were understandably upset that they were just tacking on this other thing.
Yep.
After the main show had wrapped. It was like this is obviously a cash grab kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so and then they really struggled to distance the new characters from the old ones.
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't necessarily do a great job of like, I think if they would have made it about the old characters and had them be more of mentor figures rather than having it be about the new people. Oh, and the characters you love are here sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have been better, but alas, there was indeed a last season. So speaking of last seasons, question mark, news came out this week that the CW is up for sale. So the channel studio behind such great hits as That Looks So Bad It Could Be on the CW and well, at least this doesn't look like it's on the CW, have announced that they have never made a profit since they started in 2006, which shocked me. Like that's the type of thing that, like, when I saw that, I was like, it's been like 16 years, right? Yeah, 16 years since this launched, and you haven't made a profit in 16 years.
Well, and given even the popularity of Supernatural,
Right.
which is a property of theirs, like, it's amazing that they haven't made a profit.
Yeah. And I know that was one of the big theories that I saw coming out of this, is that Supernatural's wrapped, and so they're just, well, this was their hope. So, like, they're just not pulling in anything else. So, but anybody have a favorite besides Supernatural? Have a favorite CW show?
Oh no.
I mean, I feel
Gilmore
like
Girls CW.
Let me Google.
I don't think so. I feel like Gilmore Girls was earlier than.
It was
Is
on the CW. It did not start on the CW, but it was on the CW. So it's likely. So let me read this. It's owned by Viacom, CBS, and Warner Media.
I didn't
so,
know drugstores were getting into media production now.
Shout out to CBS, please sponsor us. And so it's possible that this was on a different, that Gilmore Girl was on like a different network and then got moved over to CW. But in chat, Chunk says Disney should buy it, or Disney will buy it.
I mean, probably, but
yeah. My favorite part of that is, as somebody who I really liked the early seasons of Arrow. So the part of me that really enjoys that is it would lead to this even weirder, more convoluted legal thing where Disney has television rights to some number of the DC characters. And like, we could like, again, I don't know what those contracts look like by any means, but like,
oof.
We could end up with like Supergirl's wrapped, but like, if they bought CW, could they get distribution rights to Supergirl or Arrow or like could like, it would just be like this weird convoluted mess, like it's kind of similar to what's happening with Sony with Spider-Man, but I just think it'd be super interesting for that. Like, again, I'm just here for the drama.
Aren't we all?
Aren't we all?
Aren't we all?
I was trying to think if there was anything else specific out of that. So one of the things I thought was interesting about 16 years of not making a profit is I remember that there being like a similar statistic for Netflix when they started, where like they'd been making like, and I meant to Google ahead of time to find out how long it was, but I remember it came out that Netflix hadn't made a profit for like 10 years. And it was like staggering, but it was like in that time they'd launched. That was when they had transitioned from like the small startup to having the online platform to creating their own content. So it was one of those that like with that ramp up, it kind of made sense that they'd never made a profit or never had been profitable. Maybe there's a difference distinguished there. But I remember that was one of the things that really surprised me about that was like, and obviously like making movies is difficult and expensive. But yeah, I just don't, when your parent company is Warner Bros. Like, and CBS, like it just seems like you should have advertising partners lined up. Y'all know how things get made. Like, it just seems like you should know like the rough exchange. Of how that works. Like, obviously things happen, but like, it just seems like there should have been a clue of what was going on there.
Especially when you have one of the most popular IPs in television.
So according to a quick Google, Netflix was started in 1997 and became profitable in 2003. So. So it's not nearly as long as I thought it was. But
I mean, yeah, that's 6 years.
Yeah.
So almost half the time of CW not making a profit.
Yeah. In chat, Deanna says HBO could buy it. They have the DC and WB. That's like
See, that I'd be okay with. That'd be a purchase I'd be okay with.
And that's that weird, like, Warner Bros. Owns HBO, and then, like, Warner Bros. Through some string of companies owns CW. So, like how do those, like, legal mumbo jumbo, like, could HBO just, like, take over whatever shows and be like, we'll just do this better? And then, like...
Yeah, I think in terms of benefiting, HBO or Netflix would benefit more from that purchase than a company like Disney. But Disney has the power and the finances for something like that, where most other companies don't.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of content, the CW more closely matches what HBO serves. So that would sort of fit. But whether or not HBO is willing to go up against a company like Disney, if Disney wants to make a move for it, then who knows?
Yep. And I by no means understand how the legal side of it works, but
complicated.
Like, yeah, it just seems like it'd be super strange because, like, it would kind of be like Warner Brothers buys Warner Brothers, where it's like, here's this thing that we, like, tangentially own, or, like, it's like a cousin company kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then it's like we're basically just picking up the pieces and just moving them to this other thing. It's like there's an imaginary line and we just move everything across the line and then call it, like, HBO. Like, but yeah, I don't know. Listeners, hit us up with your favorite CW show that you may or may not be sad is going to end. So, or may end, who knows? But
all up in the air.
Yeah. All up in the air. So that brings us into our announcements for this week. What do we have going on stream-wise?
Hey, I'll be streaming tomorrow. We finished up King's Quest last week, so we'll be starting Spiritfarer. I'm very excited.
You'll like it.
Yeah, I think you'll really like Spiritfarer. I need to go back and finish it.
I'm pumped. I bought it and then was like, oh no, but I want to play it now.
The art style is great and fantastic and beautiful. I should hopefully be streaming on Thursday. I say hopefully because I might forget. But as of right now, I am planning on it. I have to see where I'm at in Subnautica, see if I need any prep. I probably do. I haven't touched my PlayStation in like a month. If I don't play that, I'll probably jump back into Horizon Zero Dawn and prep for Horizon Forbidden West, because that's all I've been playing for what I have played in the past couple of months. Is only the best game ever.
The best game ever. Then for me, I should be back on Sunday, probably with more Pathfinder Kingmaker. And so there's a chance that we do Magic, but it'll probably be between one of those two. And so definitely looking forward to more of that. And then I finally ordered my copy We will be doing our book club on Binti on January 27th. Not December, plot twist. And so get reading for that. And so I should have some more to say about it. It's pretty short. It's like just under 100 pages. So definitely a lot of time to get into it and have a good read. I'm really looking forward to it. I ordered the trilogy, which we were discussing before the cast. Comes with 4 stories. So here we are. And so, because it was like
bonus round.
Right. It's like the 3 stories that were already released, and then there's like they added a 4th one. And so here we are. But that brings us into our top 3 of the week, where we are talking about the top 3 releases of 2020 that we can't live without. So the idea was, and we kind of talked about this like as a topic at the end of our 2021 top 5. So I'm raising my hands here so that I'll remember to come in and put a card for the 2020 top 5, 2021 top 5. So hopefully it's been 10 seconds and I'll be able to find this easily as I scrub through.
I'm assisting.
But yes, thank you, Emma. But the idea is that these are the releases that if nothing else came out this year, what would you be happy with your 3 releases? And so, Emma, we all know what your first pick is, so why don't you go ahead and go?
Horizon Zero Dawn to no one's surprise.
Yeah.
Forbidden West. So excited. So thrilled. So ready.
I didn't even put it on my list.
I know.
Like, it was like, I was both going to feel bad if I intentionally went first and took it from you, but then also was like, it'll be her first pick.
Yeah. So excited. So ready. It couldn't come any sooner. I mean, it could come sooner, and I'd be content. I could just, like, if only that came out and nothing else, I'd be like, that's fine. I'm happy. I'm happy with this. I'm going to spend hours on it. I don't need anything else. I'm just so excited for giant robots and epic, powerful women in the roles, in the leads, who can defend themselves, and cool music and beautiful scenery. I'm ready. Gimme. I want it.
And we haven't talked about it, but did you see the reveal of the like VR for PSVR 2?
I've seen bits and pieces of it, yes.
They're doing like a VR Horizon game that just seems like this is how you get motion sickness. Like a game that's all about movement and like targeting and all of these things. Like this just seems bad. Like it looked really cool, but this just seems like people are going to get sick.
Yeah. Absolutely. They've been slowly releasing, like the pictures of like some of the robots, and every time there's a new one, I just stare at it and figure out what parts of the robot to target and go, I can get that thing off, and then shoot the thing under it, and it'll go kapow. So I'm already preparing to fight the giant robot snakes.
Got to be prepared. You never know when giant robot snakes are going to take over.
So yeah, that's number 1.
Shanine, what about you?
Okay. My absolute number 1, the only thing I knew for certain that was going to be on this list, is Attack on Titan, the final season, part 2. Ever since binging through all of it that was available last year, and then finding out that my husband had me start watching it before it was all out, I've been so impatient. I'm so excited. We're so close. It started coming out yesterday, last week, something like that, but I'm still casual anime fan and watch dubs, so I have to wait longer. But
Same.
Soon. Oh, and I just found out like yesterday Matt Mercer voices one of my favorite characters.
Because of course.
Like, how am I just now finding this out?
But I feel like Matt Mercer is one of the voice actors that like you could hear all of his roles and not necessarily realize that they were the same person.
I like 100% of the time do not
Talent.
recognize him. He's
Talent.
amazing.
Raw talent. There's talent there.
Yes. So for me, I set a requirement on mine that this had to be things with actual release dates. So like,
That's smart.
yeah. So obviously things can change and release dates are just up in the air, but I did not want to get sad about mentioning things and then them not coming out. So I have some honorable mentions for post-show chat. So that if they don't come up during somebody else's list, I'll bring them up then. But yeah, so all of mine have to release in this calendar or have a release date in this calendar year. And so my first pick, I don't know, I feel like I've talked about it for as long as this podcast has been going, and that's Thor Love and Thunder coming out on July 8th.
Yep.
I cannot wait. I'm so excited for Natalie Portman being back as Jane Foster. I'm so excited that we're going to see Mighty Thor. I'm so hopeful that she'll get this great redemption after how like
Fingers
not
crossed.
awesome her character was. And I just want to see her play this like super awesome character. I'm curious to how closely they're going to adapt the like non-worthy Thor, like how they're going to pull that off with there not being Mjolnir also. Like, it's one of those that like, it's such a cool comic run, but there's so much up in the air for how it's going to actually play out that I'm super interested. And then obviously Taika's directing and like, I don't want to say can do no wrong because, you know, I don't know him as a human being, but like he's one of those people that I just love his like comic chops and just like anything comedy that he writes is so good or he works on is so good. And I can't wait to see him continue this with Thor Ragnarok being one of my favorite MCU movies.
So
And,
good.
Yeah, it's just like everything about this I cannot get more hyped for. And so I just can't wait for whatever like this is. This is the I was hesitantly excited for Spider-Man because I wasn't sure what would actually come true and I didn't want to get too hyped. This is me. I'm all on the hype train and
Yeah.
I'm ready to be hurt. Like I'm kind of in the camp of there's no way the expectations are going to live up to what I want for them. So that's mine. Emma, what is your number 2?
Cameron, you stole my number 2.
Hey.
So I'm glad I have a few extras. But we are in the same boat for Thor. Very excited about that. So instead, my number 2 is going to be the Sandman TV show, because Neil Gaiman. And I love the comics, as y'all know. Read them this summer, fell in love with the art, the stories, everything. Nothing else comes out aside from Horizon Forbidden West. Give me Sandman, and I'll be happy.
That's one. I feel like I'm in this side of like, if this is great, I'm probably going to pick up the graphic novel for it. But, which I mean, I'm sure it will be because, again,
Yeah.
you know, like Neil Gaiman. But I'm so like hopeful for what this is.
Me too. Lots of hope.
Yeah, it's on my short list. Neil Gaiman, Jenna Coleman. I'm so pumped.
Janine, what's your number 2?
Okay, my number 2, I'm going with Multiverse of Madness. Yeah, I'm just real excited for some more Wanda. That's what I want.
Especially with it being very much a tie-in to how WandaVision ended.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like it seems like it's going to at least tangentially address that, which makes me happy after all the other stuff that's happened with the TV shows, like probably not being canon. So that we're actually going to get them addressed in the MCU makes me really happy.
Absolutely.
So for me, this is my soonest release. And we've already talked about multiple parts of this tonight. And that's The Legend of Vox Machina, coming to Amazon Prime January 28th. And so, as somebody, like, I've gone through all of campaign 1. That's the only campaign that I've finished of theirs. And I'm just really happy. Like, I'm happy that this is coming out. I'm happy that this is, like, hopefully going to help pull a bunch of people into the fandom. And so, like, there's
I'm gonna
that
start
side of it.
watching that campaign once I'm all caught up on campaign 3.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
And I'm hoping that this will obviously be way more digestible than watching 154-hour episodes for people. So, so I'm really hopeful, like, again, for what that'll mean for people that are kind of in my boat, where, like, I love Critical Role, but I definitely don't have time, or don't feel like I have time to be watching a 4-hour thing every week.
So is the show that's coming out, does it follow the plot line of the campaign 1, and it's just in like comic form or anime form or whatever it is?
That's my understanding. Let me Google.
I'd been meaning to look up like if it was like doing it chronologically or like jumping ahead, because I know there's been some changes.
So Wikipedia does say it is based on campaign 1 of Critical Role. So there likely will be, I'm sure there's going to be something that fans are going to get upset about, but
yeah,
but it is at least loosely based.
Cool.
Yeah. After being halfway through episode 2 for like a year and a half, I finally started like actually watching campaign 1.
Yeah. I liked campaign 1 a lot. I mean, I think we've talked about it before. I think we did our top 3 Critical Role characters. And we kind of talked about it there. I think it's really interesting in campaign 1 how a lot of the characters are the most barbarian, the most bard. And they just played up those characters so well. And then campaign 2 was kind of the inverse, where some of the characters are so interested because they're playing the opposite of that role. And so, yeah, I'm hyped.
I found things.
Okay.
So, in a Kickstarter update, it was revealed that the first 2 episodes of the series will follow a new adventure within the canon of Vox Machina, falling in the timeline before Craighammer. The following episodes will complete the Briarwoods arc and move into other classic Vox Machina story arcs as well.
So they're not necessarily. So they're not going through campaign 1. It's just like selected stories basically from campaign 1 or connected to campaign 1. That's what that sounds like.
Yeah.
Especially those first 2 episodes parts.
Yeah.
For me, I wanted to have one video game on my list. Oh, I just went. What am I doing? We just all got in on Critical Role, and I forgot that I had just gone. Emma, what's your number 3?
Cameron, we are functioning on similar brainwaves tonight.
I was just so excited.
Mine is the continued release of campaign 3, because I've been on that train for the past 2 weeks. Week and a half, 2 weeks. But the continued release of campaign 3, because I'm in love with it, as I've been saying for the past hour and a half. Because 'cause I'm loving the characters. I've been meaning to get into Critical Role for years, but of course it's daunting when there's 150 episodes at like 4 hours each. So yeah, just the continued release of that.
I've heard about Critical Role. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I know. So have I. They're a pretty small, not very well known
small indie company.
organization. You know.
They should have run the Golden Globes, tying this all the way back in.
Oh yeah.
Like, just put Critical
Man,
the Critical
that would
Role
have been
team.
like, okay, roll a d20 for how well your speech is gonna go.
Right.
Ooh, nat 1. You're just gonna stumble through the entire speech.
Yeah, you have to give your speech in the tax assessment area
Yeah.
that no one's watching. So.
Oh, a nat 20 plus a plus 5 proficiency bonus. Man, you're gonna kill it.
Yeah. Janine, what is your number 2?
Okay.
Or 3? I don't know. Here we
Yes.
are.
Right.
The next one.
The next one.
I'm gonna go with The Boys season 3, coming out on June 3rd. I'm so pumped. I really, really enjoy that show, and it's like dark take on superheroes. And
Yep.
also Jensen Ackles is going to be in this season, and I'm
I was
so
gonna say
excited.
that.
I have not seen The Boys. I feel like I would like it.
I mean, yeah. If you like The Witcher, I feel like you would like The Boys, but like definitely be prepared for a lot of stuff.
I've watched a lot of like the stuff about it, and so it was one of those that like I think I would enjoy this, but not enough to avoid spoilers. And so,
yeah,
like I'll just check it out.
Yeah, the story is really good. I really like it.
So I already introed, but I wanted a video game on my list. And so mine is Forspoken, coming out May 25th, which is a new action RPG from Square Enix about a character apparently from New York that gets pulled into a fantasy world. And so it looks like a lot of fun. It's like an open world. It looks to all be about magic. And so there's a lot of really cool powers from what they've demoed so far.
Ooh.
I always get really hyped about new IPs. Like obviously Horizon is crazy hype. Potentially God of War. Don't have a release date. Doesn't count for my list. But like there's a lot of stuff like that that's coming out this year. But I feel like there's so much potential whenever we get a new IP, especially one that looks as interesting as this, where like this could become a series that is well loved by a lot of people or could crash and burn. And so I'm just excited to get in on the ground floor and see how this goes. So that is my number 3.
This looks good.
Yeah. I'm really interested. And so I also like, I think I've talked about this before, but with it being a like character gets pulled into a fictional world and has to save it, the main character is not a white male. So like shout out to that.
It's a POC female.
Yes. And so
just fabulous.
Yeah. And so I'm super excited for that regard. Same thing that like Emma, you were saying with Horizon.
Yeah.
Like it looks like we're going to be getting a cool, strong female character that is
always here for that.
Yeah.
Always.
From chat.
Dang, it's PS5 only. Dang it.
Yeah. That's also part of why I'm excited for it. Is that we're going to actually get a like console exclusive game. And so
curses. Okay.
Yeah, so in
chat. Well, you can enjoy it for me.
Yes, I'll tell you all about it.
Go to chat, yes.
Deanna says Jurassic World Dominion, Kenobi, Thor Love and Thunder, and Avatar 2.
Is that supposed to come out this year?
Deanna answers Chunk, who asked the same question. and says, apparently it's supposed to. We'll believe it when we see it.
December 16th,
Yes.
2022. Given how many times that series of movies has been delayed, you know.
Yeah. Like, we'll see. Kenobi was on my short list, but doesn't have a release date for. It's just scheduled for sometime in 2022, and so that's why it wasn't on my list. And then in chat, Chunk says, oh, thank you, Nightbot, for rolling up. Chunk also says, can't wait for Kenobi. And then says, Hogwarts Legacy, if that comes out this year. And then Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Which I'm also excited for Hogwarts Legacy. Also doesn't have a release date. So I'm not holding my breath for that one.
Fair.
But listeners, let us know what you are most excited about for 2022. You can do that through our social media as OneGeek411. You can also let us know in the Discord, and then or shoot us an email at 1st@geek411@gmail.com. You can also leave it in the comment section down below if you're watching on YouTube, where you can catch all of our videos. And you can always hang out with us Monday nights at 6:45 Mountain Time on Twitch. You can also rate and subscribe wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. And then you can find us on our personal social media. Mine is Hugh Marwithill.
Mine is I am not prepared with an I in the prepared.
And I'm the Hoot and Howl on Twitter and Hoot and Howl Tales, TALES, on Instagram.
And it's been a great week.
All for initiative.
Read a book.